Perhaps given that the elections are too close, but we'll certainly watch to see what happens. Now, Lille's announcement kicks off what is expected to be another busy week on the political front. Well, SABC senior political reporter Mzwandile Mbeje joins us now to look at the week ahead. Well, Mzwa, we're expecting fireworks tomorrow when the State Capture Commission resumes, with Pravin Gordhan taking the stand.
Absolutely. It's one of the most important days tomorrow since the commission started a few months ago. Remember, Pravin Gordhan postponed a number of times.
That's right.
And of course, it has just raised so much interest, particularly Griselda, because Mzwandile went there as a cabinet minister. Guess what? A few days later, after giving the testimony, he's no longer in cabinet. So the question is, after Minister Pravin Gordhan would have said whatever he would say, so what will happen? What will be the aftermath? It's going to be very interesting.
Well, that's why I would suspect you, amongst every other journalist who's going to be there, a lot of emphasis will obviously be placed on the fact that it now turns out that Minister Pravin Gordhan had actually met with the Guptas.
Absolutely. I don't know what happened to our political discourse as a country, because I would assume meeting the Guptas as business people should be natural, because I'm sure you'd always want to meet people that can help you. But in this context, given that there is a state capture, and remember, in the state capture, the people who are being fingered as at the center of it are the Guptas. So that is why, so that meeting, there'll be questions. So, for example, people will want to know, where did they meet? With whom was he when he met those people? What nature of discussions happened there? And then from that, then South Africans will start saying their say, and you know they can say it.
I guess, you know, with the many casualties that many have spoken about as a result of what led then to this commission of inquiry, and the many casualties that there were, what are some of the key issues that we would expect Pravin Gordhan to touch on that would give an idea of the extent of state capture in South Africa?
Remember, the state capture, when you round it off and drill it down, it has to do with the economy of this country. So how much was the economy of this country in trouble? And how much money was spent really benefiting perhaps the Gupta family illegally? So remember, in 2009 he was appointed finance minister until 2014. So if there are any deals that were entered into illegally, someone who was a treasurer should be able really to provide that kind of evidence. So the kind of transactions that may have happened, so he will probably give insight. And of course, now being the Minister of Public Enterprises, he may say something on the state-owned enterprises.
Mzwa, the president is back in the country, I understand. Well, definitely a story that's going to continue to dog the headlines this week. The president has now decided to pay back the money from the BASASA, R500,000 rand. How are we expected to see this particular story move forward?
Absolutely, and the president was out of the country for about 4 days, 4 or 5 days.
That's right, from Geneva straight to Ethiopia.
He flies straight into a storm. Remember, before he traveled to Europe and Ethiopia, he addressed Parliament where he was answering questions, and then there was that question on BASASA. So he answered that question, but it turned out, so the answer that he had given was incorrect. But I think they moved swiftly to say whatever was done, it was done without his knowledge. So as a result, so he will then pay back the money that was deposited into the trust account, which really helped to fund his campaign to become ANC president. But what is going to be interesting in this week, now he's back in the country, we'll listen to the kind of noise that will come, and will he go back to Parliament to perhaps answer, to take South Africans into confidence, to say, I did not know? And the other important aspect, so what other information will he be able to disclose so that South Africans will really be at ease that he actually did not know?
Well, in fact, we see that the president has called for an investigation into all of the donations that were made towards his campaign for ANC president. Thank you very much for your time, Mzwandile Mbeje, senior political reporter here at the SABC. He will be at the State Capture Commission.